Hi, welcome to the Meet the Team for Year 1. I am Becca and I am the Dragonflies teacher and the Key Stage 1 leader.
And I'm Hattie and I'm the Butterflies new class teacher.
As we go through this presentation, please feel free to stop and start when there's a page with lots of information on it and you want to read it.
So first of all, this is a chance to meet the staff. So as we said, we are Rebecca and Hattie, and we've got various teaching assistants across both classes. So we've got Kim and Rock and Bessa, who'll be based in the Butterflies class, and then we've got Anna and Heather in Dragonflies class. Heather covers teachers around the school, but when she's not covering other lessons, she'll be based in the Dragonflies. And because we work really closely across the classes, it might be that on some days teaching assistants do group work with children across the different classes. We've also got various additional adults, and as we said, you can pause the show if you want to look at these in more detail.
And just to add with that, any TAs doing crossover would be keeping 2 meters apart from children who aren't in their bubble. Okay, this slide you'll already have seen on Murray and Robin's presentation, but we just wanted to highlight our start time, which is 8:55, and our pick-up time, which is 3:25. It is statutory to be at school in Year 1, so it's really important that your child is in every day, and this is also key in making sure that children reach their potential. Obviously, having missed a lot of school in the previous year, there are quite big gaps in our learning, which we are working hard to recover, but it's even more vital that your child is in school every day. Obviously, if they're sick, there are protocols around this now, as you will have been, you've had this pointed out already, I believe, in Murray and Robin's slideshow.
Okay, so just some information about our general school day. So school starts at 8:55 in the morning and our first session begins at 9:05, which is why it's so important to be punctual. We've got our first break at 10:15, which lasts until 10:30, and that's when our second session starts. We then have lunch between 12 and 1, and our third session starts at 1 and finishes at 3:25. The gates open at 3:10, but please only come to collect your child at the allocated exit time of 3:25, and just wait at the class gate at the end of the day in order to collect your child. So just some information about various things that happen throughout the week. So we've got PE on Tuesdays when children need to come to school in their PE kits. We've then got the opportunity to talk to myself or Becca, so talk to your teacher every Wednesday at 3:15. We'll be available in the playground to speak to any parents that might like to come and discuss anything. We're also going to be having extra PE throughout the week every day, so just make sure your child comes in wearing comfortable clothing, so that they're able to move and exercise comfortably and safely. Okay,
so the curriculum. Like the early years curriculum and what the children have been doing in reception, we believe strongly at Primrose Hill that the children have a really broad and balanced and creative curriculum. Moving up to Year 1, in some schools it can be quite a formal jump, but in our school there's a lot of similarities with the kind of curriculum that they would have been having in Ladybirds. So we do integrated learning, which means that the children, Hattie and I, will teach a maths lesson, and then instead of everyone going off to sit down and do a maths lesson, a maths kind of task together, instead a guided group would go off with me and do, say, a maths job. We call them jobs. A maths job, and then on one table we'll have an art job, another table will be an English job, and then there'll be maths and topic and fine motor and all kinds of jobs going on in the classroom at the same time. This means that the children will be investigating, they'll be questioning, practicing, lots of playing. We still very much believe in learning through play, as they're still very young. We know that developmentally this is really important, and they'll be doing lots of exploring and experimenting and a lot of collaborating. One thing that we love about integrated learning is that it really encourages independence, confidence and cooperation. When the children are working with an adult, so each child will work with their teacher in English and maths, at least in a guided group once a week. And then they'll be doing work independently, and they'll also be working and playing in groups, and they'll be working with friends or in partners, and they'll be learning outside. So there's all different ways of learning, which is really important for their development. And it encourages them to be sort of self-reliant and self-regulating, because they know that they've got, for example, they've got an English job to do and a maths job to do, like on the independent tables, and that it's their responsibility. Like over the year, they build up this sense of understanding and responsibility, and they know that it's their job to get their independent jobs done, which is amazing, because it carries on building on that kind of self-sufficiency that they start off with in EYFS. I love it.
Okay, so this is our weekly timetable, and as you can see, there's plenty of opportunity for phonics and reading and maths and English, and those things will happen daily. But in addition to all of those important subjects, we'll also be focusing on doing lots of PSHE and art for this half term. And the timetable that we've got here will be continually reviewed and adjusted according to our assessment of the children's needs, which will be ongoing throughout the term.
So I do recommend stopping and pausing on these slides once I finish talking. But obviously we are catching up, given recent disruption in class. We're currently teaching or revising or finishing the end of the reception curriculum to make sure that the children have that solid foundation before we move on to the Year 1 curriculum. These are all things that you can do at home that will hugely help your child in making sure that they're secure and they're ready to move on to the next stage, the Year 1 curriculum. Reading in Year 1, reading and writing in Year 1 I think is particularly fun, because they come in, with quite limited knowledge. Like, they're only just at the beginning of their reading and writing journeys, and they end the year kind of being able to read books, which is really exciting. But it's really important that we follow the phases in phonics, and so the phase 2 is what the children learn in reception, but lots of them are finding a lot of these sounds tricky to remember. So if you can do some practice with your children at home with the phase 2 sounds, we're going over them in class, but they are going to need some practice. So if you can be practicing those phase 2 sounds at home, that would be brilliant. I've included some links here so you can play some games and find those online. It's also really important that children are reading every day at home with you. Reading is tough when you're at this stage. It seems often for a lot of them totally impossible. And the only way that gets broken down is through the practice, the everyday practice, and they quickly start to see the progress that they make if they are reading every day. If you are having any trouble reading with your child at any point, please come and let us know. We are happy to give advice and tips on how to make this a good experience for both of you. Reading should never be a struggle or painful, and if it is becoming a battle, then again come and talk to us, because we want it to be a positive experience. So we're here to help. We'll also I think we won't be sending home our reading diaries the way we normally would this year because of new safety precautions, but we'll be setting guided reading tasks on Google Classroom as part of their reading home learning each week, so look out for those. They'll also be bringing colour book bands. So we have our books are different colours, they have little stickers on them, and it's a different level. And it's really important that your child brings home the right level for them, and we'll tell them what level to be bringing, and you should read that at home. And the books shouldn't be so hard that they can't read anything, but they shouldn't be too easy. If they can read the entire book really quickly, then they've hit the top of the level and they're ready to move on to the next one. So if you're finding that, please come and let us know. Okay, writing. It would be really helpful if when you are writing at home with your children, that you always remember these key principles. Always ask them if they're starting with a capital letter. Always ask them to check they've got finger spaces and full stops. And they need to read it again. and make sure that it makes sense, and make sure that the letters are close together and on the line. Another really key skill at this stage is being able to say how many words are in a sentence. For example, the cat is big. If I'm planning my sentence and I want to say, I know I want to say the cat is big, I can say it out loud and then I'll count how many words it is on my fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I know that I have to write the 4 words down. And that is a really, really key thing for the children to be able to do, to help them with their writing, to help them kind of not get lost in their ideas. Because often they can have really fabulous ideas, but when they're at the early stages of writing, they can get kind of really boggled if they're kind of trying to, I don't know, like write a kind of a sentence with 20 words in it or something. So that's a really good skill to help them develop. And then also the formation of the letters is really crucial. We'll be doing lots of handwriting in class, but the more you can do at home, the better. It really, once the children know how the letters are formed, it just takes one thing away that they need to be thinking about when they're writing, and then they can be thinking about like the spelling and like the word that they wanted to write and which direction it goes. So the more handwriting practice you do with them at home, the easier they're going to find writing.
So for this autumn term or half term, our topic is going to be me, myself and I. And as part of that, the children will be thinking and talking about themselves and their likes and their dislikes. And this will be a good opportunity to get to know each other better, but also for them to practice their oracy skills. So we'll be doing lots of practice of speaking and listening to each other. And as part of this topic, we'll also be exploring our feelings and learning how to notice and describe our emotions. And we'll also be learning how to persevere and to try our best with all aspects of our learning. So we'll be setting some home learning tasks every Friday on Google Classroom. Each week we'll be setting a reading task, a maths task and our phonics task. And those tasks will help to consolidate learning that we've been doing in class that week, and will help children to catch up on learning that they might have missed during lockdown. And across the term we'll also be setting some topic work, but that'll be more kind of sporadic than the weekly tasks just described.
If you have any questions, you can come and talk to us after school at the end of the day, or on that Wednesday at 3:15. Remember that on the school website we have a lot of information, all the letters home put up there, as well as presentations, dates on the calendar, anything about clubs, and then all policies and procedures to do with the school. We hope you have found this helpful, and we are very excited to be teaching your children this year. And we know we're going to have a really good time, don't we, Hattie?
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.